Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga mutuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwali topic kiri wandyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke. Bino bintu byasenga na ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde tuyakedde ku macabaga nti nsitudde tu. Naye nga mutuufu agambye nti akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting a topic yona gyandyagadde twogereko tujja kwa tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk ku share enganzi the Snap Talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Riots and insurrections continue to ravage the southern part of Africa. That is, yes, the part called South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. It is the 15th of July, 2021. We are up, we are happy, and we are here for yet another exciting episode of the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things have been happening around the political spectrum of Africa and Uganda in particular, and I'll be giving you more of that, what is happening here in the news. But ladies and gentlemen, before I'm telling you this is the Mighty Drive, first of all, let me first apologize for coming a little bit of late. You know, some technicalities here and there. Facebook is still closed in Uganda, or is still barred from access, but we are here, and we promised to break down having a conversation with Uganda, and that is what we are exactly doing. It is a rainy and cold morning right here in Kansanga, where we are live from, and I'm so happy that you are able to watch us every day. Our show runs every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. 2 hours of intensive debate, intensive talks, and intensive discussions that will make our country better and will build the future generation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Mighty Drive. Amanya nze Edgar Matthew Karanga, mbaniriza nnyo ku show ya mwenganze eberayo ku Facebook live, ku YouTube, wali ku the Alternative Uganda bagiyita the Mighty Drive. Remember, this is the first of its kind mobile studio where we sit and we hold discussions and talks with people, give people platforms to talk to the communities and try to change the narrative. And remember, we are a youth-oriented organization, and we make sure that we bring the youth first. And we believe that the youth of this generation are responsible for changing their futures and changing the narrative that is here today. And so ngalwachi tukeera buli lunaku okuva ku ssaawa mpaka saa 3 nga tubeera na tubawereze era tuwereze gwanga lyaffe for the future generations to come, so that they will really absolve us. Amawulire mangi agabadde gatambula mu ggwanga Uganda ne wabweru w'eggwanga, naye nga sinayingira. Njagala okusooka okwebaza mwenna abakeera ne mulaba Sheno, kuliko omwami Alex atwemerireho, kuliko Norman tumuhimbise, kuliko Kakuru tumusime, kuliko Kato, kuliko abantu bangi bannange mwebale, Wamala Charles, abantu abali mu Durban, South Africa. Then we have people from Dubai. Thank you guys for every day tuning in from Monday to Friday and waking up to the Mighty Drive. And we promise to give you credible information, better information, accurate and real-time information that will create a change and an impact to the society that we live in. It is the 15th day of July, and remember, olunaku werugwa oba togenda kuddamu kululaba, and it's just you should make a count of every day that you're living, every day on earth, make it purposeful. Katuyingeko mawulire kubanga olunaku olwali mukimanyi ebeera in-house Thursday, by the way. Tubeerawo n'omwami Rogers Tuliaha bw'ajja n'atuwa environmental tips, ajja kujja maaso awo. Then tubeera ne the glamorous and beautiful Teddy Tenjo Nabukera, the fashion queen. Yes, agenda nayo kujja asooka atuwe ku fashion tips. Tumanye what do you wear, when and how, and that and much more, because this is an in-house Thursday. Luwede, Princess Lillian will be also coming through in the second hour so that we start digesting on the stories that have made rounds in Uganda and the world at large. Tutandikeko waweru w'eggwanga, tutandikeko mu ggwanga erya South Africa wetwogereranga okwegugunga okwatandikira mu KwaZulu Natal kutandise spreading in the different regions of the country. Jukira okwegugunga kuno kwatandika ennaku entono emabegako wetwalaba president eyaliko president w'eggwanga lino omwami Jacob Zuma we bakwata ne bamuconvicting ne bamusiba emyezi girina kubeera 15 ngali behind bars nga bagamba ono omwami yatyobola amateeka g'akakiiko akaali kanoonyereza ku corruption scandals ze. Because of this bamusentensinga ku myezi 15 okubanga just asooka nasavinga ejo emyezi tebannabawuliriza musango gwennyini ogwamuggulwako ogw'okubanga yali alya enguzi corruption. Then nokubanga eggwanga yali agezaako okulitunda eri abantu abalala. Waliwo abayindi nabagambako yesterday nti waliwo abayindi abaali nga bategeerera Jacob Zuma, and this is one act that can be equated to treason. So Jacob Zuma was sentenced to 15 months in prison. Ekyaleesewo okwegugunga mu South Africa kuno, naye abantu abalabira ebintu mu baasa oba abantu abasoma kye bayita political theories bagamba mbuno this particular insurrection and riots have not really been because of Jacob Zuma's arrest. Because first of all, Jacob Zuma was impeached way back nga achali mu bufuzi ne bamujjamu obwesige parliament ne bagamba ono omwami tasula kubanga akulembera eggwanga, and nothing happened then. But people are equating the riots to economic depression and the inequalities in the state of South Africa. 30 years plus down the road from 1994 when they got their independence, South Africa is still going through what they call social inequalities. Abantu abali mu South Africa tebalina mwenkano. Mulimu abagagga ennyo ababeera mu parts of Pretoria, Durban, Cape Town and the various Gauteng regions. Then wali abaami abalala oba other people who are paupers, abantu abatalina nsimbi bulungi ate they are so poor tubalabako mu Soweto eyo. So these inequalities and the economic depression in the country has made the escalation of these particular riots too much. Kwetogerera nga abantu 7 bebakafa following the riots ezibadde zigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga erya South Africa. Yes, twalabye nga police etuso okubanga tekyalina na resources, nti police enaku zino tekyalina na maanyi, babadde bagezaako okukuma some of the various places in South Africa, the businesses, the supermarkets and other big wholesale trade businesses, naye batuuse nga tebakyalina resources sobola kubasobozesa kubanga bakyasobola okukuuma emirembe. Tulabye abapoliisi mu South Africa, most especially in parts of Durban, in parts of KwaZulu Natal, in parts of Pretoria, in parts of Soweto nga batandise okudduka bino ebibuga ne businesses abapoliisi bali bakuuma nga bazidduka. Following what? The rioters batandise nabo okurunninga rogue, omuntu wagamba barunninga rogue batandise okukyankalanira ddala. Wetwogerera nga batuuse n'okubanga batandika okubanga babakuba amasasi naye ne basigala nga bajja. Remember, police ya South Africa ebadde ekozesa amasasi ag'ebipiira, rubber bullets, okubanga bagumbulula bano abeekalakaasa bali mu ggwanga erya South Africa. Naye akyalabiseeko ndoozi abadde balaba obutambi obadde butambula ku mukutu ne mu mutimbagano social media, Facebook ne ku YouTube ne Twitter. Olabira ddala nti no bano abamu badde babakuba amasasi rubber bullets zino naye ng'ate basigala bakomawo. Bamukuba n'abeera nga addako emabega naye n'asigala nga akomawo nga alumba omupoliisi face to face. Ate n'abamu ku rioters batandise okubanga nabo bakwata amamundu nga batandika shootinga towards the policemen and the security operatives, ekireesewo okwegugunga mu kibuga kino. Ebizimbe byokeddwa businesses ennyingi ez'aba traders wetwogerera nga bakaaba maluma ge bakaba ge bayonka gebakomba, sorry, after what happened in South Africa, businesses are being burned down. Ndoza mwalabye kechifana chibade trending ku mukutu ogwa social media ogwa Facebook, tulabye nga omukyala abadde alina okukasuka omwana okuva ku kizimbe waggulu ekibadde kiteta omuliro basobola okumukwatira wano wansi. That is how much the country is being ravaged by these particular insurrections. From 1994, we have not seen such insurrections happening in South Africa. In the 70s, in the 80s, and in the early 90s, towards the time when Nelson Mandela was to be released. Nelson Mandela bam releasing after 27 years in prison. That is when we saw South Africa and Gebeda ravaged by these particular things and cases and riots. But after 1994, when they gained their independence, South Africa has not had any riots of such a kind, apart from this one that happened a few days ago that sparked off. Up to now, we're talking about Pakisawa, abantu bachali mu kwekalakasa mu parts za South Africa. Police ya South Africa kakasiza abanansi ne international communities afabalabire ntino bakakwata abantu abasoba mu 1,500 people have been arrested because of this particular of these particular riots. Ekituuse mu wali mu ggwanga South Africa, by the way, nga nkyabongerayo nti wetutuse nga waliyo roadblocks ezibadde zitandise okubeera nga zimauntingirwa mu enguudo ezifuluma the parts of Gauteng. Jukira riots zino zatandikira mu KwaZulu Natal mu kifo kye bayita Gauteng. From right now zitandise spreading to the various parts of the country. Wetwogera nga zitandise okutuuka mu bifo ebya Soweto, waliwo ebya Natal, all these different regions batandise okubanga banabo Kalakasa, Cape Town, Johannesburg, Chakuteda. So itogeranga buli omu ali indoors and they're trying, everybody's trying their level best okubanga bekuma. Ekiriwo wano rioters bali mu kutagetinga maduuka gabo abatali bannansi ba South Africa, omuli abayindi, omuli abazungu, era jjo twadde tulaba BBC made a live coverage from there ngolabira ddala there is a particular Indian who was crying agamba bannange maze emyaka 41 years I have been serving in South Africa and making business here, but I've never seen such a thing. Nga bakingidde business y'omuyindi ono ne batwala buli kimu. When you resist, you may end up dying because of these particular South Africans. But South Africa banono bayina ekintu ky'okubanga they are one of the laziest people. Bote baagala nnyo kukola. South Africans don't like to work. That is why you've seen them nga ebintu byabagala byamangu kugenda kubba kwekalakasa, things like that. So ekireseewo obuzibu in the South African setting. Abayindi aba other businessmen bonna batandise okubanga okudduka abamu naye ate and in juxtaposition of people who are running away, business traders who are running away from their businesses, then wali abalala ate abasazeewo kati okukyekwatiramo. Wetwogeranga ba business owners abali mu ggwanga lino erya South Africa batandise okukwata nabo emigemera wala oba ze bayite amamundu okubanga nabo beekuuma against the rioters. Bagambye kati bagenda kutandika okutakinga the law in their hands. Abalabe video yabadde etambula ku social media okwo kuliko nga bali baade bakoze line nga bali muku trying to shoot the rioters ne batuka n'ogamba statement, we must do what we must do. They are willing to kill in order to protect their businesses. So abantu batandise okutwalira amateeka gaabwe mu ngalo. Even the people protecting their businesses bajjeyo amamundu, they have started actually fighting the rioters. It is war right now, and the country South Africa is bleeding. Over 72 people have died, and these are since yesterday night at around midnight. Yes, that midnight in that morning, but for me I think it's midnight, it's night. So yesterday by 12 a.m. midnight twalabyenga abantu abadde bakafa nga abakabalirwako babadde abantu 72 abakafiira mu kwegugunga kuno. Abantu ab'ebitiibwa bangi abavuddeyo okubanga bavumirira ebikolwa ebigenda maaso mu South Africa. Omuli ne king of the Zulu bamuyita Misisi Zulu, yes, that is his name, King Misisi Zulu. Naye yavuddeyo n'agamba bannange mutuswaza. Jjukira guno okwegugunga kwatandikira mu kibuga kyennyini mu region kyennyini ono kabaka mwakulembera region y'abakwazulu oba abazulu. So yavuddeyo n'abagamba bannange ebikolwa byemukola bituswaza. Ye president w'eggwanga lino omwami Cyril Ramaphosa omusajja yavuddeyo naye n'akakasa eggwanga n'agamba aba rioters balina hidden agendas. That is what he said. Nagama chintu, yes, waliyo economic depression, but there are other people who are actually fueling these riots in order for them to have their self-interest. Balina bebabala ebyabo teyabdi disclosing ebichi byennyini naye nagamba we twogereranga badeploying over 2,500 soldiers. Kati abapolisi bakivuddemu baleese abamaje okubanga bakuuma peace mu kibuga wali ekya Durban n'ebibuga ebirala ebyetooloddewo Pretoria and the other regions, because as we're speaking the riots are continuing to spread all over South Africa. Naye kye neebuuza nga nze walabye videos ezaadde zigenda mu maaso awo ku social media ng'olabira ddala abapolisi baadde balina amamundu naye nga they are not shooting direct to the people ate nga ne baadde bashooting rubber bullets. Chenebuza, does your government here have the gun restraint okubanga singa kibaddewo wano abantu ne beekalakasa nga bebadde beekalakasa mu South Africa, what would we have seen right here? Because tumamanyi if it were here, what would have happened? Nga mwekalakasa we mutyo. Do your policemen and other security operatives have that gun restraint okubanga basobola okwekomako ne bagamba waye katuleme kwatako kuba n'abeegugunga? That is a question for you to answer yourselves, and you can log on to our social media platforms at The Alternative Uganda on Facebook, on YouTube and on Twitter. Tubuli what you think about that, or you can drop your comment in the comment section. We'll be reading them, and Lillian, in the next hour of the show, tell us what you think about what is happening in South Africa. Or you can also follow me on Twitter at Edgar M. Karuhanga, and Facebook Kwendi at Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. Net keeping the conversation going, no number what you think about this particular story that is happening in South Africa. Tuveko wabweru uwegwanga ndoza tumalie dala ebigenda maso tuyoke tutukiri dala wano kugwanga. Prime Minister wegwanga lineria Haiti kakasiza ntino oku funeral arrangements is the fallen president of this island country, the man Juvenal Moise. Agambe it's underway. Batanso kutegeka okuzika kwa president wabe. Jokera president ono yafa wiki ewedde unakulwalirwa akusatu wetuwalaba nga abamu bamasasi agamujja mu budde. So okutegeka okufiirwa okuzika kwe kutandise okugenda mu maaso wali mu ggwanga area South Africa. Tukomewo wane waka in Uganda in just a couple of minutes, because I would want you to enjoy the glamorous Teddy Tenjo as she comes to give you the fashion tips. But before she does that, allow me first come back here in Uganda. Echaba East African Legislative Assembly iyala parliament na yetandise okubanga erondebwa in the different political parties and the different members of parliament. Jukira members of parliament mwaweereza yeri mu parliament yaffe be balonda abanaba representing wali in the East African Legislative Assembly. Omwami twabadeko n'omwami Echaguba Robert Katongole yabadde yesimbye waawo naye unfortunately kirabika olugano yaluvuddemu awo naye nga batandise okubanga balonda ba members abana representing the country Uganda. Jukira show ya feno abantu atuli wamu n'omukyala Owanita Jewelry. Ono akola necklaces, akola earrings, akola bangles n'ebyokwetonaatona ebyabakyala. Musobola okubanga mumunoonyako wali ku Facebook ne ku Twitter ku ali ye Nita Jewelry, oba osobola okumukubirako ennamba eri 0751963993. Namba ekanjiddemu ya Nita Jewelry gwayagala earring, ayagala ebyokwewunda, ayagala necklace, byonna osobola omukubirako ku 0751963993. Ajja kubanga asobola okubikutuusaako right there. Gwe omukyala ayagala okubanga onekaanekana mu guno omulembe ogwa omutebi oba abana gwe bayita omwagulanyi wadde sikakasa, kubanga nze ndaba omwami President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni akyali ku nkato ey'eggwanga lino erya Uganda. Tugendeko mu mawulire amalala we twogereranga ssente za COVID bazongeddeyo. Mwabadde tebannafuna ku nsimbi, you still have hope after the Prime Minister of this country and the Republic, Miss Nabanja, weyavuddeyo n'akakasa eggwanga nti no bongeddeyo okugaba ssente paka olunaku lujja kuba lwakutaano, olunaku lwanca. Wonna abatulaba message between today and tomorrow, manyira ddala gwe ekintu tosobodde kubanga okifunamu. Naye by the way nayogeddeko n'abantu abamu from the various parts of the country abankakasizza nti ssente batandise okuzifuna, omuli abantu abali e Bushenyi eyo, wali abantu abali in parts of Mbarara, wali abali Fort Portal eyo, know nene unye wali wagambe the money is going to really be in the central district of Uganda, that is Kampala and Wakiso and the central region. Na unfortunately tulabya te sente nze benaka uliako personally abakafuna ensimbi zino abali eri nange nchali nze message yange wano esimu ebera fully charged. Miss Nabanja waiting on you to just do the needful. Nange nja kubeera wano ngambe ku Mighty Drive bananga kasente nange nakafunye ka the vulnerable poor. Nga tugenzeko mawuli amalala according to some statistics and one news agency in this country, Daily Monitor, bakakasiza nti no over 7.7 million people abavu beba misinze out okufuna sente zino ez'omuggalo ezigenda okuyamba bannayuganda okubanga bayita mu muggalo guno ogwa COVID-19. The second wave of COVID-19 ya later lockdown mu ggwanga lino erya Uganda, and a couple of people over 7 million estimated to 7.7 million estimated not to have received the COVID relief funds. Nekino kiba kikwatise ennaku because sente zino bali bagambe zina kubanga za vulnerable poor, so baba tebalina bakufuna sente zino oluusi kiba kikwase ennaku. Lugogo ne Forest Mall walindoza mugimanyi eri Lugogo Forest Mall awali Shoprite kino ekifo kyaggaddwa omwami RCC Burorwa, yes mumumanyi Anderson Burorwa ono RCC we Kampala yakakasiza nti no bano abagaddewo following the cases of okubanga eza COVID-19 guidelines badde they are trying to break and not comply with the COVID-19 guidelines. Anderson Burorwa came out in action as the RCC, the resident commissioner of Kampala, nakakasa ntino bagenda kubagaddewo kino ekifo paka we banabanga betegese basobola okufollowinga the standard operating procedures we bajja okubakkiriza kati mwabadde bagenda for shopping wali ku Lugogo no salamu Shoprite no gamba kangene funeyo akakyokulya oba ekintu kyonna. Unfortunately I don't think you should even waste your time going there right now because wetwogeranga bo abagaddewo ekifo kino police ngeriwa under the orders of the resident commissioner of Kampala Mr. Anderson Burorwa RCC wafe nakakasa ntino wali bagenda kubanga baggalawo so tebagenda kukkiriza muntu kubanga accessing these particular premises. Obubbi ne mob justice eyongedde okubanga egenda maaso mu ggwanga erya Uganda. People are being lynched, people are being killed because it was an Abagamba story yesterday that over 10 people are killed daily in Uganda today from the time the lockdown started. In a week, over 70 people are murdered just like that. Nenga ba murdering how? Through mob justice. Nti abantu baba bagenze kubba ne babakwata ne babocha ne babatta. Kati jo wali omwami yawonyo okubanga attibwa wali mu kibuga ekyalira in the northern part of the country bavudde yadagezaako okubba enkoko. He was a chicken thief ne bakwata kataba police yamusanze nga bagenda kumwocha we, but he was about to be lynched. Police yamujje kukagwa agenda ali enkoko ye because it's not often that you find people being saved just like that in the nick of time when you're going to be murdered, and fortunately they help you and you survive. So police yo gamba mbuno bana mob justice yo yongedde abantu abasinze okufa in this particular lockdown are dying due to what they called they refer to as mob justice, and especially leeching people. Okulichinga omuntu kwekwata no nomukumako ennaali oba nomukumako omuliro. Yes, ennaali that is the stereotypical way of saying these days abavubuka we were referring to omuntu okubanga bamwokyeza badde bamukumyeko ennaali wali in lira ye agenda ali enkoko ye kubanga tebaba kumutaasa abadde eyiye evuunikiddwa. Mawuli nga ntatera okumaliriza ndooza Dr. Kiza Besigye azeemu n'agamba bannange eggwanga lino lyetegekere the third and fourth wave of COVID-19. Nagamba bino betulimu biwero. It's right now that we need to build concrete solutions and foundations to fight COVID-19 instead of just going around in circles. Yada wa government amagezi gano nga yakakasa ntino bannange as a medical doctor. Remember, the retired colonel is a medical doctor and was a personal doctor to the president of this country, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni after they fell out and see bwetyo bwebeera omuntu eyaliwo mwekanganga mwenna temukyetunuulira. Oh, that is one of some things that are really shaming and shameful and really hurting, okubanga omuntu gw'ovudde naye wansi eyo n'avaayo ne mutuuka kabwanango. Ekyo kyekiri wakati wa retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye n'omwami Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Eddakiika ziri 52 ze zaakayita ku ssaawa emu ey'okumakya. Amanya nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga nga nkuweereza olunaku luno olwaleero ennaku z'omwezi n'abagamba eziri 15 omwezi gwa 7 omwaka 2021. Kadde nga Lilian watera okukayita kakinyi kagobe akakuba akatonyerera kafuuyirira wano ekansanga we tuli ewuwo kiri kityawo. Oba oyingira ekibuga ndooza wettanire ofuneyo kasweta oba ofuneyo ka jacket akanaasobola okubanga kakubugumya mu time eno osobole okubanga ogenda mu maaso. Abantu beekayunga bazze ne bakuba omulanga nti n'ennaku zino bakosa bodaboda okubanga batransporting abalwadde ba COVID-19 n'abalwadde abalala generally. This is because ambulance yali ekola ku ggwanga ku ddwaliro lino ery'Ekayunga, eddwaliro erisinga the biggest hospital in the district, Kayunga district, terina ambulance broke down 1 year ago. But doctor we were disclosing nti bannange ambulance y'abantu beekayunga yayononeka omwaka gumu emabega. Imagine 1 full year ago and the government of this republic has not really come out to help those particular people in Kayunga. And in fact, not just the government, but the medical sector. How can an ambulance be down for a full year and nothing has been actually done about this? That is Uganda for you, ladies and gentlemen. It is no surprise to me unless it surprises you, because maybe you don't live where we live, but where we live we see what this country is made up of. Remember wetwogeranga government emaze okufuna obuyambi obwa dose eya Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. Pfizer ahoy batibajogera bannange Pfizer. It is P-H-I-L-I-T-Z-E-R. Pfizer COVID vaccine okuva mu United States of America yatuuse wano ku butaka oba enaatera in fact okutuuka sagala gamambu yatuuse because sinagirabako naye bagambye it's going to be shipped. Uganda is expecting doses emitwalo 64 mu 647,010 doses of the COVID vaccine. That means zino zijja kwesobola okuyambako abantu ng'emitwalo 32. Remember abantu bafuna doses 2. Atuweziba doses ziri emitwalo 64 mu 710. That means you have to divide by 2. Producer wange Jeremiah kabaka wa mathematics soko to dividing them tulabe kyemmanyi roughly gibere emitwalo nga 32 mu 10 nga 3 mu 5 yeah. Oh, mchina muka mathematics. Yes, jibe emitwalo 32 mu 10 mu 5 mu 5. That means abantu emitwalo 3 mu 2 mu 13 mu 5 bagenda okumanga bafuna that vaccine. Very good news to hear in this time when people are being ravaged by COVID-19. What we need more is the doses, the vaccine, so that people can actually get vaccinated. Na ekyebuzibwa nja kukibuuza n'omukyala Lilian in the next hour nti ziri doses zaffe miliyoni 18 ze twalina okugula zo sente ze bayisanga parliament. Doses ziriwa? Why are we still surviving on these donations? From the time we've been surviving on donations, zonna twafuna Alibaba yatuwa vaccine, netufuna China ne batuwa vaccine, England yatuwa vaccine, kati United States yatuwa the vaccines emitwalo 64. We've been surviving on donations, but where is the money for the vaccines that was passed by Parliament, the 18 million doses of vaccines that we are going to cater for 9 million Ugandans, Zebaisa, in the first lockdown? That is a question for me, from me to you, Dr. Atwine, to you, the Minister of Health, to you, Dr. Jen Ruth Cheng. Ngamaliza bannange dakika ziri 4 ezibulayo okutuuka ku ssaawa 2 ndowooza tumalirize n'eggwanga lino area tumalize ne story eno ebadde esembayo mu Gulu. Yes, Gulu University wetwogereranga yo baade baganye okubanga bakiriza COVID-19 remedy yabwe gye bakoze. Naye President Museveni ye akiriza okubanga bakola clinical trials ku vaccine ku ddagala lino erya COVID-19 Gulu University ze yakoze. So yabawadde green light n'abawane n'akkiriza okubanga babawa billions oba obuwumbi 3 okubanga batandika clinical tests on this particular medication to see how it it will help the various people in the country of Uganda. Because remember, Professor Gwang yatukolera from Bara University yatukolera COVID-X abantu bana Uganda bangi gwe bettanidde kubanga abayamba mu COVID-19. Then no mwami ono kati anebana abagulu university nabo bakamize up with their own remedy for COVID-19. Katulinde atulabe nenga ye President Museveni ya passinze nakkiriza nti billions 3 zibenga zibaweebwa okubanga batandika the clinical trials in this particular country. Wetumanyi nga malize ndoza n'abantu 7 momu abakakwatibwa wali mu kibuga ekyerugazi omanyi kati tutambula the various parts of the country. Rugazi abantu 7 momu bakakwatibwa okubanga bamenya amateeka ga COVID-19. Mwebyo bano nno bagezezaako n'okulwanisa abakuuma ddembe oba security operatives nga bagezaako okubakuba amayinja. Kati oli gwokuba amayinja ayina mundu wanasalawo okufulumya kiri mu mundu gwe wejjinja onaasobola okubanga osurvivinga kyekyebuuzibwa man oluusi tulina okubeerako ne that conscience oba that thinking nti bannange ono gwenkuba ye ayina mundu naye gwe gwokuba gw'olina jjinja. Ndowooza akamaliza amawulire ago dakika 2 ezibulayo okuwera essaawa 2 amanya nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga okubanga mbaweereza nabagambye nti jo bakuta omuntu omu yali akkirizibwa okubanga gwe bali basuubira okubanga agezaako okutta General Katumba Wamala naye bakakasiza nti nno ono abadde amutraining okumala emyezi gibadde mukaga. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the news updates for you. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga na mawulire gakyali mangi naye tetusobola kubanga tugamalayo. We are going to go
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hello beautiful people, you're welcome to the Snap Talk with your girl Teddy Tenjo every Saturday right from 6 to 7.
It is your responsibility omwana wo kubeera mu nyumba nga teyasuze bweru mbo bamubanja rent. Koyo kulaba abalenzi abasajja abakunga butuufu tebabuulirirwa nga babulamu.
Towerabira nti tuli wano ku the Alternative Dig Talk. Mukwano gwange gwaliye topic kiji wandiyagadde twogereko. Is it about family?
You can take your time, look for a job, stabilize, men will come, men will always be there, you will get the men. Bonna goyagala musajja yenna goyagala ojja mufuna.
Embaga ketuuke bino bitu byasenga nawe ojja bafuna.
Naye ng'oli asitudde tu yakedde ku maca baga nti nsitudde tu naye nga mubutuufu agambye nti gy'akyali muto.
Is it outside family? Is it society? Oh, could it be relationships? Just be commenting nga topic yona gyandiyagadde twogereko tujjako tujogera kwano ku the Alternative Dig Talk kushare enganzi the Snap Talk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Good morning. It's your girl Teddy Tenjo back here again on the Mighty Fashion Tips. Ngera Edgar Wawagambe. It's still me, Oganga Imani. But Thursday, it's an in-house session where we talk about fashion, we talk about different things. But as for me, Zizele Lokogera about fashion. Who's excited? Last time we talked about when we come back, we're going to talk about sneakers. We're going to begin from sneakers. Again, I want to take this opportunity to wish Edgar happy birthday on holiday. It's his birthday, and of course, I'm not alone in the studios. I decided to come with the environmental guy today because he asked me to discuss with him. So, katumuyimbirako ka happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you. Meanwhile, that guy is such a blessing. Banaife ngafe bakozi banne banaye tumufunamu omukisa mungi. Nenga njagala bebaza mwena bali yabatrekomideko like okwetotandikidde pakati. I'm here to talk about fashion. Who is interested in my outfit today? Anyway, today I'm putting on as you look at me, I'm putting on a tighty top that is kind of long sleeved with a skirt that has flyovers, and then I'm putting on pumps, and people have been appreciating my outfit. That's why I decided I don't bagambe how I'm dressed, and I'm excited to tell you what is next. Anyway, sagala batwala speed njagala tutanikira wenyini njagala tutanikira konako. Last time I told you we are going to be talking about sneakers, what you could call steppers or canvases or whatever term you would wish to call them. Nenga njagala bajukiza nti ngasera bidde jukiramu nze nganze a person who loves Puma a lot. I love Pumas so much. It's my best label beat. Okay, it's my best label when it comes to shoes. Njagala bagamati there are a number of types of shoes. Walio Pumas, Adidas, walio Nikes, walio just you know any other Jordan. There are many types of sneakers. Nga imula on the screen they'll be portraying for you. Ojaku olaba Pumas zeziriwa, olabe Nikes zeziriwa, olabe Adidas zeziriwa, olabe Jordan zeziriwa. Nenga, I'm excited and I'm here to tell you that you can cane sneakers on whichever day you decide. Let's say it's a Monday, you're going to work and you decide to put on a long dress. In your long dress, na ye olida you wouldn't want to put on maybe flat shoes because probably when you're heading to town, maybe so to begin kwera bingi bikone. So you decide you're like let me put on sneakers. I'm here to encourage you that yes, it can blend. As you see on the screen, we've seen people who are kind of blending their outfits. Long dresses ngabata deco sneakers. Don't you think they look beautiful? Long dresses with sneakers. It looks beautiful. Nofuna kabako nogenda, so whoever that is there and wadoli engolowoza sneakers bazambada whichever anyway izo kuba wadogamba pants noteka sneakers kwa dress. I have a friend who keeps saying omukazi ambalacha sneakers on a dress. My dear, it works out beautifully. Anyway, be it on a short dress, izo kwa dress nga maybe kali skimpy and short, or ngogenda kupate maybe toyaga kwambala heels for the day or yagala kwamba yako sneakers. I'm here to encourage you that sneakers can go be it on a long dress or a short dress. As you see on the screen, there will be running footages that I got for you to encourage you that, my dear, tichiriku how fashion is just so free. You can even come up with your own thing. No gamat cut. Okay, if it's not the long dress or it's not the short dress, can call it long skirt. Like me today, I mean a mid skirt, but I would call it long because it's below the knees. So I term it as long. So I can decide neteka ko sneakers wange ningamba can rocking in my own style because of course buli omuntu mulaba ayambala long dress ajata ko either open shoes or ayambala pants negwe ali you can make it unique no gamba long skirt yange kanjiteke ko sneakers mberenga nga nsotya nga nkuba abandaba. Anyway, I love fashion. It excites me. That's why you see it mzebuleme anjagala about fashion. There is that happiness I keep having. Fashion is the way to go. That aside, let's go into short skirts. It could be skimpy, it could be round, it could be whatever. Not kako sneakers. No gamba kanumia ba yeah, your tumbler, And by the way, Samurai sneakers are very comfortable in a way that dust take over. I love sneakers because dust take over. Ngenda naba nyambala my sneakers. I stay as clean as I went in the morning. Better dust tend to say konyo chidi. Like I would bring an open shoes or pumps into boda niwe kuita ko you see that dust agenda kukola chegenda kukuba. So sneakers is the way to go. So just a quick reminder, a long dress, be it round or straight. Short dress, be it round or straight. Likewise, a long skirt, a short skirt, be it round or short. I'm here to encourage you that beginner sneakers. Gamba muna bada discouraging at Teddy Tenjo said, hello, you can cane sneakers whichever way. That aside, I was so excited. Okulabanga even bitenges. You can have sneakers on a chitenji. I mean, chitenji sometimes looks very formal. You find that wadiaga dokuteka ko high heels, but I'm here to encourage you that no, that's not the way to go. You can put on sneakers, nekaba kateni kali round, nekabela straight, nekabela whichever way you can put on sneakers. Anyway, what was more interesting when I was coming up with these topics, I found that it was more favoring when I talked about dresses and skirts, and only the women put on that. So I was like, how can I cater for the men? And guess what I came up with? It was none other than a suit. A suit, a man. Did you know you can put on a suit with sneakers? Oh my God. This hit me so bad. How can a guy put on a suit with sneakers? Like, Nabida so elegant and smart. You don't have to kwemenya no yambala gentles all the time. Is it ago kwedagala and all that? No. Pumas, Adidas, Nikes have got you on a suit. You can put on sneakers and you look stunning. Be it on a gentle outfit. Gentle outfits, nakoso kwambala sneakers and you look smart. So man, I'm excited to inform you that it's not only gentle shoes that you're supposed to put on ngoyambade sneakers. I mean ngoyambade suit. No. Oba ngoyambade gentle outfit. No. Even sneakers blend so well and you look elegant, you look smart and presentable. It is still me, your girl Teddy, taking you through fashion, but as we talked last time, nabagamat tutugenda kubanga tukole bintu bingi. So leo twali talking about sneakers with a few outfits. Just all blending them sneakers, and I'm super excited that many of you there thought that you can only put on sneakers on a pant or whatever. Naye ngawe nkugambye, a skirt, a dress, be it long, short, round, you can put on sneakers. Man, yours is more exciting. Suit with sneakers. Imagine. If you can't imagine, try it out. You won't be forgotten anyway. That aside, this show today has been sponsored by Bridal Path. Bridal Path yetademulera amanyo kulabanga show yoralele air fashion tips. Eberange itao atera nyago beba zamwe na Bridal Path nyago bagamati relocated e Kabalagala ko Kingsgate Mall. F20 first floor. So when I yongo yagala kwogera fashion, yogeranga uli a Bridal Path. You may think it's only a bridal store, but no, it can talk to you fashion wise. So I don't want to waste a lot of time. Let me invite my brother Rogers. Rogers, take us through the environmental segment.
Thank you so much, Teddy Tenjo Nabuke. First of all, I want to say happy birthday to the big man, the only Motoro who sworn to never go back to Fort. Niwaba kodabitana kajarisanju tada Fort ituchea chigoba. And as Teddy Tenjo was speaking, I just realized I have actually been naive. I never knew there was flyovers in clothes until now. So thank you to the Tenjo for the fashion tip. A number of us are actually learning from that. If I can, the birthday boy can bear testimony. Nowadays he's putting on belts, he has watches, and a few others that are missing are probably going to be gifted to him on his birthday. He will go through process by process. But right about now, we talk about the environmental tip. This is the time when we talk about the nature. We talk about something that is holding us, something that we live by. You know, when you live in a home, you don't just leave it the way you are. When you wake up in the bed, you don't just leave it the way you wake up. You have to lay it to make sure that when you come back, you have a place to rest, which is, I am relating that to the nature and the environment as a whole. Now, you see, talking about climate change that we were talking about last time, it's something that affects all of us. Water-wise, you know, when it happens, sometimes you have a lot of drought, sometimes you have a lot of water, and floods happen, and floods, you know, spoil and infrastructure, people's homes. You remember the Bududa issues. About, by the way, in October of 2018, about 800 people in 13 villages were homeless because of landslides, mudslides. And about, I think 2019, another one hit, and about 38 people were reported dead, and almost a number of households were really affected, and people became homeless and stuff like that. But we saw the government reaching out and gave them more than 3 billion Uganda shillings for displacement of these people, to relocate them to new places that they are designated. I do not know if that has been in effect up to the time being, but I think that was a good move. But I also think we cannot always be relocating. Now, if drought hits, where are we going to relocate to that there is no sun? So that is why we need to fight for the environment that we live in, so that it also fights for us. You know, remember, this world does not belong to us. we belong to the world. And as such, we need to keep it as tidy and as clean and as in place as we found it. Now, if we, I may take you through the history of the laws, especially the environmental ones. In between 1991 and 1994, the National Environmental Action Plan was promulgated. And it was an action plan that provided a framework for addressing gaps in environmental policies and engagement, as well as strategy for integrating environment into the national socio-economic development. Now, if I may read the goal, the overall goal of the National Environment Action Plan was a sustainable social and economic development which maintains or enhances environmental quality and resource productivity on a long-term basis that meets the needs of the present generations without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I wonder if that law is actually still doing what it was supposed to do. Because if they are saying they want the future generations to be able to sustain and stand on their own with as clean environment as it is or as it's supposed to be, I wonder what happened along the way. Because right now, we are seeing capitalists take advantage of these rules. We have a lot of laws that are not being enforced, that have no might. They are not doing the reason for which they were made in the first place. We have the National Action Plan, I think, Climate Action Plan, that is not doing anything. We have seen, you see the Bugoma Forest Saga, the National Association of Professional Environmentalists, and this other Water and Environmental Media Network sued NEMA and Hoima Sugar Limited for wanting to change the Bugoma Forest into a sugarcane plantation. But do you know what Justice Sekana said? If I may quote exactly what his words were. He said, it appears, he said, it was based on a substantiated allegations to win public sympathy and mislead the court. It appears the applicants in this matter were premised on distorted facts, and the applicants have attempted to suppress the real facts in order to make a flowery case, by exaggerating that the entire forest is being cleared for sugarcane plantation. So here is the problem with our leaders. You see, the public sympathy, the reason why it wins the public sympathy is because that forest serves all of us. It helps all of us in the process. It's not just about these people coming out and speaking about it. It's because the public sympathy comes in because these people are benefiting from this. And I just wonder, a person of integrity and stature like Justice Musa Sekana coming to a conclusion that they are just making a flowery case by winning the public sympathy. What do you expect? You see, it's like Nabanja and what he's doing, and someone will come and say what she's doing is just nothing because it's not making any effect. As little as it is, she's making that effect. So it really beats my understanding that a person of that caliber can make such a conclusion, especially on a matter that is that sensitive. So moving on, I think we should fight, every one of us in our spaces. We need to fight for these spaces. It is for all of us. It helps all of us. And in the end, when the calamities hit, they don't hit those people who, specific people, and leave out others. When it happens, trust me, those landslides did not affect only poor people who are living in those muddy houses. They affect all of us generally. When drought hits, it doesn't hit only the others, Katanga, and leaves out Muyenga and Munyonyo. It hits all of us, and we all feel the effect. So in that sense, we collectively have to work towards attaining the same. I think, if I may conclude, the reason I was talking about the cases is because in every aspect and every space that we are, we need to utilize the resources available to us. At the alternative we give, we talk about those things and we tell you, look, ABCD is happening and you have ABCD roles to play. Now my time right now here is to tell you that the environment is not just about making the laws and leaving it at that. It's to tell you that even if you are deep in that village, there is one thing you can contribute to make sure that we make our space better than it is right now, because we are really in a very bad space. Yeah, that said, if I may conclude, I wanted to talk about Botamira Forest. I wanted to give you also Article 39 of the Constitution talks about our right as citizens of Uganda to the clean environment. Now that right gives us the reason to have the sympathy for cases like one that was judged as just flowery, as being made flowery. It is our role to protect the environment, and we have a right for that purpose. You know, Article 237 and Section 44 of the Land Act are talking about the public trust doctrine. Public trust is that the government is alleging to hold those areas that are of importance to the community on behalf of the people. Now, if those forests are being gazetted as national treasures, and then you wake up one day and you want to move them to make them public, sugarcane plantations, what do you expect? It's just against the law, first of all, and it's against nature. You cannot burn your own house. Where will you sleep the next time? Or where will your kids find rest? So in that sense, I think we need to play a role collectively as a community and society that is benefiting from this. With that little updates on the environmental tip, I want to get back to Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. I want to thank Teddy Tenjo for the fashion tips. Man, that lady is another level. Until now, man, I'm still understanding the flyovers. And I am probably going to be making a little more research and making more inquiries into how to also have probably a pant or shirt that has a flyover. So back to the Edgar Matthew Karuhanga and the beautiful Princess Lua de Lilian on the Mighty Drive. Keep it the alternative.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
The Mighty Drive. My name is Princess Lua de Lilian. Welcome to the show. Muchala Teddy Tenja toward the fashion tips, and she talked about the shoes. I mean, I think I know sneakers ayogedeka ne brands ezenjawulo nengamba bwemba sina puma kati nzemba ngenda kwambala ki njamubuuza nga tuvudde ku show awamu ne mukulu Rogers tuli habwe na tour the environmental tips, what we have to follow in to ensure that our environment isigala nga yeyo yenyini nyini nga tetugenda kufuna a rainy season atenga season yalina kubeera ate munange ya msana. But welcome to the show. Ndine munange Edgar Matthew Karuhanga tugenda kuba tugenda ku bintu ebyenjawulo olunaku luno olwaleero era nga tugenda kubanga tulabira ddala nti munange buli kimu kitambula bulungi nnyo nnyini ddala era atuwadde amawulire mangi, so tugenda kuba atongera okuba nti tukuwa torch mu mawulire gano ate gatuwadde olunaku luno olwaleero naye nga ndi musanyufu nnyo okuba nti nkoze ne mukulu Edgar Matthew Karuhanga ku lunaku lwe olw'amazaalibwa. Kirungi nnyo nnyini ddala abantu abamu birthdays bazitwalanga oba bazitwalira ddala okuba nti nnaku za njawulo nnyo mu bulamu bwabwe, but Edgar Matthew Karuhanga is with us today okulaba nti ayongera okubanga aweereza eggwanga nga bwe yeeyama okubanga akola ekintu kino. So tugenda kuba twogera ddala bingi nnyo olunaku luno olwaleero tulabe engeri ate gye tusobola okubanga tutwalamu eggwanga lyaffe mu maaso n'okwensuring nti bannayuganda bafuna ekyokuyiga mu buli show ate munnange gye tubaleetera. Mukulu Edgar, thanks okulaba. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I feel sweet. I feel manyi si kya bulijjo naddala mweno time gye tulimu okubanga oyongerako omwaka bantu bangi balusuddemu akaba bangi bafudde banji bambi bade going through a lot, and many have not made it to live another year, and I'm so grateful okubanga ntuusenga nange emyaka mpezeza nyongezeddeko ku mwaka gwe. Yes, so it's a happy birthday to me. Omanyi, first of all, the fire has to come from you. You have to also have the fire inside you. It's my day, let me celebrate it, let me welcome it, because it comes once in a year. Then you continue. So thank you so much, everybody. Messages nyingi zenfunye wano mwebale mwenna bali mukulaba olunaku olwaleero. Thank you so much for the birthday wishes, and thank you as well, Lillian.
Okay, webale tu amawulire.
That is our sole purpose.
RCC okugalwawo kwa
yaragidde okugalwawo okwa Edgundi Forest Mall nawe Lugogo abamanyiwaawo ku Forest Mall okwo kuliko amaduuka ag'enjawulo,
kuliko Cafe Shoprite.
Yes, kati abadde yagigaddewo olunaku lwadde lwaggulo, amawulire ga breakings around sawa nyezi akawungezi nga balaga mbuno ya signs babenga bakola ki nga babenga bagalawo this particular area. Naye tugenda mukubirako, by the way, tulabo batusobola okumufuna ndooza Lillian in a couple of minutes. Katusome number, ne number tutina oginawo, yeah, you can just call in direct.
Okay, tulabe ayongera okutanya ku
yes, atubulire tuli mukubira omwami RCC we Kampala Anderson Burorwa essaawa zino wetuwogerera kati katuwogere naye atubulire ekyekyagazaawo Forest Mall ng'ebiwandiiko ebyakedde okubanga essimu yino eyitamu. So let us try to connect to the RCC Mr. Anderson Burorwa tugezeeko okulaba kikyana tugamba tetumanyi oba tumukedde nnyo naye ku dakiika zino 24 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 tusobola okuba nga tumufuna. Katulabe oba anaasobola okukwata essimu yaffe. Wanaagikwata, we shall try to ask a couple of questions as the Mighty Drive. We try to bring you concrete information as to why these particular things happen. Naye olunaku lw'eggulo nga wetukubira omwami Anderson Burorwa essimu tannagikwata, naye olunaku lw'eggulo akawungezi ekiwandiiko kyafulumye nga kiraga nti Forest Mall ne Shoprite bagaddwawo following them disobeying the COVID-19 guidelines, okubanga amateeka ga COVID-19 bagajemedde. So gwe tukyali mu kkubira ssaawa zino tulabe engeri yes gye tuconnectinga naye. Yes. So abatulaba, we are on phone calling Mr. Anderson Burorwa, tannagikwata oba akyebase tetumanyi lwaki essimu tagikute. We are going to try one last time tugezeeko okufuna omwami ono RCC atubuulire katulabe. Yes, now we are calling him again. Tulabe ye kyatugamba omwami Anderson Burorwa one last time, then tulabe nga tweyongerayo mu maaso. Abakatwegattako Shoprite ne Forest Mall yagaddwa wali Lugogo, omwami under the orders of the RCC of Kampala, omwami Anderson Burorwa. So we are trying to connect with Mr. Anderson Burorwa right now. Yes, COVID-19 guidelines. Yes.
RCC ayongera okubanga attanya ensonga eno ayongera no twilight atechi kiddako after this
tannaba kubanga akwata
esimu. I think akyali bizo bakyalina ebimufudde naye tukyagezaako okulaba nti tumunoonya tulabe nga ate munnange ayongera okubanga attanya ku nsonga nga zino. Nenga mukulu Edgar Mazimura, I think ndoza kino kyakulabirako nnyo.
Yes, and it is a very good aganya okukwata.
Tasobodde kubeera nga akwata tetunaba kumanya.
Neme kugamba bwaganye.
Ya tetunaba kumanya nsonga ki lwaki takute, but nze kibeera ekyokuyiga businesses ezenjawulo.
Balagera they are not above the law. It's good. Yes, because wakola example eyo nokwata nogala Shoprite. Yes, it's a very big company.
Nze nga sinaba kusala gwa kawala na gwa kalenzi. Mbadde njagala anyway engeri RSS gyatosobodde kwata. Nze mbadde njagala atubulire baba wake ekiwandiike like ekiba warning.
No, but I thought generally Lillian they had
no bayinza okubanga bo balowooza nti bali tebamenya amateeka, bayinza okuba balowooza nti bali ba operating normally. Yes, nga bagoberera amateeka
waliwo saying egamba ignorance is no defense. Oluusi obutamanya ekibeera kyekwaso musango naye ate of which nze nkakasa balina okuba nga bamanyi because baggalawo businesses singa ne bagamba food stores zokka tuzireke nga nga nzigule because abantu bajja kwetaaga ogula ekyokulya naye kati baliwe baba batandise okuba nga bajaajaamya ensonga ezo nga bazizanyisa buzanyisa nga bazitwala nga zakubalaata nga maybe keeping a social distance and doing other things they're supposed to do as a registered entity and as a big business. That means okubagala kija setting a precedent for other people. Examples bamanye mbuno yes oli wabasobola omukwatako nange bajja kunkwatako. So Anderson Burorwa kye yakoze awinza okugamba kiyinza okudicampaigninga nga ba investor bibagala bichi their interest but right now we are in a life of survival. Tuli mu survival mode. Tusobola kubanga oyongera spreading over the sawa zino. Yes, no oba oli ShopRite, no oba oli Forest Mall. Ate ekyo kiraga ntino kati at least ko mbuna abantu abakolamu bakwatibwako. We've had a situation in this country where abantu nga bo bayinamu ku ssente badde tebakyakwatibwako. They feel like they are above the law. Nti osanga omuntu alina ssente n'aparkinga mu kkubo wakati. So ebintu webityo
nga tete wali amukoona
nga tete yagenda mugamba
era bw'omukoona kayinza n'okujjukiza nti gwe oyogera ngaani
kati tulaba nga Forest Mall ekifo kitujumanyi kubanga kyabagagga so baba abagagga basobola obakomako. That means anytime things are starting to change. Atenjaga nnyo the way Mr. Anderson does his things. Kyobola nze oluusi njagala tutandika okuleeta abavubuka kati Anderson omulala muvubuka, people with fresh brains, people who can drastically, people who can actually make a decision, people who are still vibrant and young, who want to prove something. Chovola kati nze no narrative y'abantu nga yes abakulu bakozeeko, but I think it's time they start nurturing our generation to start to learn these things, to start to know how these things are run. Kati olaba nga council RCC ono Anderson Burorwa olabirira nga ekintu ayina kya provinga, ayina ayagala kukula in the ranks, and so he's doing something as a young man. So ekyo nze mba muwa a plus to me, and kasita kuwanche manyi taswa kubanga mazega galawa a big company like that one Lilian. So okitegeeza there is something, there must be a reason and concrete evidence okubanga yazigaddewo. So katulinde if they comply bajja kubagula, of course, because the people actually need to trade and things like that. Naye banasigala nga bakyawalaze empaka tebajja kubagula. Yes, kyekyo kibadde kyo Forest Mall.
Kino kigende kibeere ekyokuyiga eri abalina businesses ez'enjawulo. Tolowooza nti gwe oli above the law. Okay, oyinza okulowooza nti ojja kikola for some good time naye ate bwe banaakugwamu, of course the consequences
becomes bizarre. Yes, very true. Mu mawulire amalala ndooza tugendeko ku story endala. By the way, abadde abakatwegata kutwali tukubira RCC. Simanyi wakinjala nnyo muyita council. Naye RCC Anderson Burorwa tumukubiddeko naye esimu tesobodde kubanga agikwata, esimu ye emanyikiddwa ebadde ekuba emirundi ebiri nga tagikutte, so ne tumovinga on. Let's go to other stories. Sente za kugaba mu muggalo guno ez'aba COVID relief oba vulnerable communities or the poor bagambye bagenda
bamutaddeko mu kakiiko mu Mucunyannyo.
Tebannaba naye minisita yenda baakoze omulimu gwe okujjako kale wadde mugamba agukoze kasoobo naye omulimu agezezaako ogukola. Nabbanja has been vibrant and
abantu bangi nnyo abatannafuna
era ne Daily Monitor yafulumiza article nga mbadde nkugamba nti abantu milioni 7 mu emitwalo 7
tebafuna. Ngenze ne kuyanga ogamba waliwo abantu abafuna abawa
someone waliwo akuba. Good morning, welcome to the Mighty Drive.
Yes, Vivian, Tenjo, Roger and others.
Yes.
No.
Wanje?
No man.
Yes.
Temuso kuba masimu kubanga yatebuwanga gwako nange mutunda kubira wakuba masimu. Kati.
Yes, sir.
I have came and watched and followed your entire discussion, and I wanted to also put this forward. First of all, it's in regards to South Africa. South Africa, lwakuba abantu bagana okukkiriza amazima nti in a country where you have had this had suffering where a dictator or any misgovernance of such a country for 20-40 years, chances are it will take the same time to get back to normal. That is why some theorists would say Libya might take extra 40 years to come back to normal because of the 40 years that was being mismanaged. So in my view, and just like I would want to implore others to also follow my view, so that South Africa under Mandela, there are lots of things that weren't solved, and that is the honest truth. Naye nga bagambanga ffe in my tradition nti nno waliwo okubika epitambi ne mujja obutiko ne mushweka mweho obutuzi. So there are some things abantu leaders are negotiating for their independence n'okulwanira against apartheid tebagaana okusolving at a time. So we are seeing the consequences now coming back. It cannot be Basio or Zuma. No. It has been there, and I can assure you it will be there for some time. Maybe what I also would want to hear from, I've not heard from Malema in black and white, or even coming out loudly to condemn what is happening formally. All the big shots, most of the big shots in South Africa and even in entire Africa at large, I have not heard your judge here also saying something. I mean, there is need to go back and revise the notes about where it was if South Africa is to settle. Because to be honest with you, abantu bachawulira ennaku bakyagiyina babalekera Soweto babalekera Islam kati bakole batya.
Waliwo social inequalities mu ggwanga erya South Africa.
Ate kyeyongera. So until you come to the drawing board and say, guys, look, kino kyekino tukkirize, waliwo Mandela ne ttiimu ye bye bataakwata bulungi ne bambeki bonna bamudira mu bigere bo bakwekirira balina bye babikirira naye nga I can assure you nga biteekwa kuvaayo with time kyagala oba nga tokyagala ng'era bwe kyandizabika wano ndaba bye munaalekayo akasungu era kagenda keyongera. Okay, jajja wainsi okuba n'obusungu n'akuzaala n'obusungu n'okula ng'obulaba ne bazzukulu bo. So with the time obusungu buvaayo. So this is space between the haves and the have-nots. Weekoma okuba nga egaziwa weekoma n'okuzita obusungu ku the have-nots nga bo balaba nti those the haves buli kye balina kyabano abatayina. Kati obuzibu buva the innocent kati obafunira obuzibu nti nagwe obakulaba ng'owevugira akabondako oba nga oli mu kakikumiko bakapulemu bo bambi bana b'obusungu basuubira kinazo zaabwe.
But okay, before Mr. Norman, njagala before nga tonnaba crossinga njagala osooka commenting something small about what is happening in South Africa. Nti twalabye nga police ya South Africa ebadde ina kye bayise gun restraint eya waggulu ennyo nti abantu badde beekalakaasa naye nga ate tebabakuba kubatta wadde yes waliwo victims abafudde naye ng'olabye ddala according to the scale of the riots abantu abaakafa batono. Do you think if those riots erupted here in Uganda, would we have the same story as in South Africa? Where would the soldiers have that same gun restraint in South Africa? Or what would happen here? Just paint a picture for us.
If it happened here, they have already happened, and you have seen how that happened. Your colleagues are that are even come. You have Catholic support. They're going to shoot live bullets onto the writers. But for me as a movement builder, it's a two-way traffic. That whereas you don't want to be shot with live bullets, what have you done as a demonstrator? Are you writing or you demonstrating? Because there is a difference between writing and demonstrating.
Yes.
There is no one. By the way, even if all of those activists writers were in the government, none of them would wish to see the citizens burning buildings or rooting. That's how different I am. That's how it is different from other people's activism. But as you're supposed to be shot with live bullets, why do you burn cities? Why do you burn buildings? You get?
Yes, sir.
Why do you burn buildings? So I think as a movement builder, for me, I would rather advocate for non-violent movement building because Mandela never even banned a single cockroach.
Yes.
Yeah? So where are they learning such? Where are they learning such a behavior? They can still demand for their rights or demand for whatsoever in a peaceful and a non-violent, using non-violent means. For me, that's where I have issues with even the rioters.
Okay.
So for some reason, it's a two-way traffic. It's a win-win situation. Sometimes this person holding a gun might be running for their lives. We have seen in so many countries where activists or demonstrators cross the line. They now desert being demonstrators into rioters and typical criminals. We have seen it. So for me, as an activist and as a patriot, I will not support any of the sides, depending on the circumstances. If you continue banning cities and killing other people, they equally love their lives. So why do you think that the life of the demonstrator is more important than the life of a police officer? And the other way, vis-a-vis, that why should the lives of the police officers be more important than the lives of the demonstrators? So it's a two-way traffic.
Okay.
Yeah. So before we leave home to hold your gun, I mean, also to also come and demonstrate, think of how do we best reach an agreement of moving the whole country or the whole continent forward, not barring anyone with interest.
All right, thank you so much.
No, to Uganda, please.
Yes. Neda, it's okay, Neda.
Anderson needs to be my friend, but I'm praying that he picks, or even the other Monday you could try him. You see, that is what I always tell young people, even when you want to take charge, that is what we call an employment to employment excitement, like we would say, rural-urban excitement. You see, it is also key that this gentleman should have met the people and sat them down and warned them, which in my view, as far as I understand, there don't seem to be any discussions, prior discussions. And in my view, which he might come on Monday and substantiate, he might have acted out of anger or out of excitement. But look, I remember when Eric Sakwa, the former RDC of Jinja, bad Dr. Wisjan warned him to ever cross to Jinja, that if he wants to even go to eastern Uganda, he should he should fly, and then he finds himself in Iganga and Kamoli. Where is he? So even when we get these such offices, as young people, let us not be excited, because you see, power, with the time will get off your hand, from your left hand to a right hand. So you can never be RCC forever, because there are people who have been earning, in fact, even earning, simply surviving, even the situation that we have in the country. So when you close them, will you have solved the problem? So I am one advocate of peaceful discussions. Discuss until when you have failed to achieve through discussions, and then you say, guys, I am closing you. But you can pick up in the morning and say, I am closing you because of ABC and Z, because I'm an RCC, my dear Anderson, please. It's high time we discussed with the people, and people can go back and survive. Finally, the whole night I was thinking and trying to put something down, and I realized how African countries operate. That first of all, the parliament will pass a budget to procure masks or manufacture masks.
Yes.
Later alone, they will say, okay, they pass a budget that the committees of parliament or government goes to supervise how these masks are being done.
Yes.
Then they will pass another budget for masks to be distributed. And when the masks are not distributed, the parliament also passes another budget to inquire why the masks weren't distributed. So thereafter, you will have also another budget to sensitize the nation and citizens to put on masks. And later alone, you also pass a budget for the government also now sensitize how you can properly put on a mask. You get, that is how my country and the entire Africa is running its things, budget after budget, and also inquiring into another inquiry. That even when the corrupt become corrupt, then they will put another budget and give it to another group of corrupt people to ask why the other people, the previous people, were corrupt. So there is a big governance issue in this whole country, that as citizens and as young people, especially through media houses like this and other platforms, that we should come back to normal and indeed ask tough questions, but also most importantly to have that human and patriotism at heart as a nation and also as people. If that could be achieved, the Ubuntu, if that could be achieved, perhaps this world would be very, very good for all of us to live. Because as I close, God made this world with everything, save for the greedy. We have everything that is enough for all of us. What kills us is the greed. May God bless all of us.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Norman Tumuhimbise. He is the executive director of the Alternative Uganda. What did you say? I was commenting on coach.
Checho chenda kubuuziza ku ku RCC Burura nti yabawaddeko ku kiwandiiko, but unfortunately tasobodde kubeera nga akwata simu kwongera kutanya ku nsonga zino, because bw'ogalawo bizinesi y'omuntu nga mwabadde ajja ekikumi nga tosoose kwogera naye oba kiba kyetaagisa okumuwa at least notice n'omugamba ngenda kuggalawo olw'ensonga zino na zino.
COVID-19 ebya Uganda manyi walicho bayita radicalism oli asalawo obusazi nga ye bwalo
akera ku machana asalawo nga bwasinyi.
Yes, by the way, I don't know oba Anthony Odul solo mukubirako natubuli amateeka go gagamba ki. I don't know if we can get a hold of his contact omwami Council Anthony Odula tero kubeera ko no ku Mighty Drive chemanyi ne kati alabika kwali singa tusobola okufuna enamba ene tumukubira natubulya legally is this actually accepted. So I would just request for my producer to just make it happen tukubireko omwami Anthony Odul Council so katubulye mmateeka kino kikkirizibwa okubanga RCC out of the blue asobola okubanga deciding just like that that and much more kasa tunafuna number we shall be contacting Council Anthony Odul za mudakiika entono ezibulayo.
Okay.
So
anenga chile South Africa.
Yes, kitandise okutokotanga sikisaanikire
naye mukulu Noma nageze nayogera nti ebyakolebwa sometime back ebyaliwo ku mulembe gwa Nelson omugenzi kati Nelson Madiba Mandela anti ebintu ebimu mulimu ebyaliwo naye ate ebitasolvingibwa so kati tulaba sawa zino ate byebiri mu kweyoleka wagenze nogamba nti aba South Africa bali lazy they don't want
yes tebagala kukole kuva dda bwe
ate nomala notugamba nti abagagga n'abavu
anti waliwo inequalities naye ate n'abavu tebagala kukola bwe buzibu obuli mu South Africa
ate olwedde bavu ate tebagala kukola
yanti bali bamanyira obugagga omanyi obeera nga wakulira mu family nga ngagga oluusi okukola oba totera nnyo okukola. Is how they are. Okay. Nayenga the fact is ekiri mu South Africa sawa zino cha kukyali mu region eza KwaZulu Natal naye twogera kati kwa spreadings nti kati n'abantu b'omu Durban batandise okwekalakasa abantu aba mu Pretoria n'abantu mu Johannesburg batandise okubanga bakola ki bekalakasa kyekiri mu South Africa ate kati ekizibu ekiriwo nti nno ate batandise n'okufuna amamundu nabo nga bashooting against the rioters shooting against the security operatives kati ogenda kulaba a lot of bloodshed ekigenda okubeera mu already omusayi gwatandise
yaweerezayo ejjinja yadde akaweereza ejjinja n'okuba mu tear gas
anti kati ate naye abantu banyumira oli alina mundu alina tear gas ng'omukasukira jjinja mazima ddala oloza gochali Daudi bakyaliyo guno omulembe
abo wetutte okubeera Daudi
anti bwe ngamba Daudi isi yakasuka ejjinja n'akuba Goliath
Daudi byali mu Katonda
bino birimu kububbi and the thing is
but the
economic depression yesinza okubaluma ennyo that is the truth nti olaba omugalo guno kuva lockdown baya South Africa bad affected by COVID-19 from last year bali mu fourth
tukyali mu yakubiri
bali mu yakuna Dr. Kiza Besigye bagambye namwe mu yokuna mujja kutuka of which it's true because in season knows about sawa zino olaba mbujuke babira vaccinated abachi bayina ne fifth wave eri mu kubayita mu sawa zino kujja konti ekibayamba population zabwe zisinze bakoze eki bali vaccinated kati obera vaccinated obera immune to COVID-19 ti tosobola kufa COVID-19 ajja kukwata yes netajja kusobola kutta nga kati wabadde abantu anti era neera noba n'endwadde endala COVID si ajja kutta nti ebirwadde byabiyinza okutta naye COVID yekenyini kuba obeera vaccinated obeera immune against the virus so kyekyo kiri mu South Africa right now abantu bali mu kulootinga obubbi bufuuse obubbi katulinde tulabe kiki ekigenda okubeera naye nga ye Cyril Ramaphosa president waabwe yavuddeyo n'akakasa eggwanga nti kati bagenda kubanga bakola ki
nakuwulira amawanga g'ebweru bwe gavaayo kwogera ku nsonga
era ne president anti n'omwami Norman sikyayogeddeko kati n'agamba naye amazima nga tetukyakola ki nga tetuwulira abantu bayogera ku kigenda mu maaso ne president tanaba kwogera ku kiki ekigenda mu maaso saawa zino mu South Africa so yes that is what is happening in South Africa katulinde tulabe naye nga amagye bagadeployinze ku streets badeployinze abantu abanamaje 25,000 basobola okubanga bakuuma eddembe mu kibuga ekya South Africa katulinde tulabe naye bali balinga enje n'abalabyemu bo balinga omuzungu omuganda kyagamba batatya biduduma tebatya biduduma
nibo mubagoba basigalawo
nkugambye nalabye
olabye gasi nga babakuba ningera babalira obafukamidde bakyali
kati wotunulamu yesterday I was watching a clip nga abana abakuma abananyini businesses kati nabo bakuta amamundu batandise protecting a business zabwe nga bashooting at the rioters but the rioters were still coming nga babakuba amasasi ne bagawe
I don't think okwekalakasa kw'abantu bano kuva ku bantu basibye Jacob Zuma
anti eyo
I think there's something behind there's something behind it chiba pushing okole chiba manyi obera ng'olina obusungu obwo bwa mwaka gwa 2022 ne bamusparking amukatini gwe kati mu 2022 ba mu 2010 sorry mu 2021 n'okomyawo obusungu buli obwa 2002 n'obukomyawo saawa zino obusungu babukambwe
kinakugambye John nti omukyala wamukyawadda kati afunye ononyeza ka reason kamu akoze akatono kebekwasiza
okulutinga kola all that stuff because I mean these are
the fact is they are going
so obwavu bosanyawo business obwavu bugenda
ate basanyawo business ate yeye agenda kubba yagenze naba neyekwa nakwata fridge najitwala
ate by the way kigenda kugwa that's the problem
abantu kati go you have your own lens nayo oli ajagamba nze wenafuna fridge yange nenjetiko we TV je kuba mfunyemu ate otunulamu ekiri mu South Africa right now mbuno n'okufa kuno kolaba abantu nsavu abafudde abasinga tebafudde nti poliisi yebase kyobala newunyiza abasajja bano balina gun restraint jestalabanga konti singa badde Uganda wano neweka okufulumya essasi natto omuntu wewekanga abantu abasinza okufa bafudde bino ebya babadde abadduka neda abadduka ne bamugwira kavuyako abadde fridge ne mu banafa. That is how they've actually the 70s abasinga we batwe bakoze ki we bafudde. So ekyo kye kiri awo mu South Africa na yenga katulinde tulabe ekyo kinaba kigenda mu maaso engeri gye banakwatamu omwami Jacob Zuma by the way mukumera yagambe abantu balekera okwekalakasa nyama tuchokola mbone kitekiya about Zuma. It's hidden, it has a hidden agenda because baganye abagamba banaye mulekerawo naye baganye. So yes, that is what is happening in South Africa.
They have an agent, a hidden agenda.
A hidden agenda, yes. Waloche bakweka ne Cyril Ramaphosa bwe yagambye president wawe.
Okay, they have
waloche bakweka.
They have something ekibadde kibaluma for some good time.
Obwavu si kirala tukiriza obwavu bulumye ba South Africa amazima olaba omugalo gwaba affecting anyo kati ate kizibu watandise n'okubeerawo food shortages nti ekizibu ekiwa enguudo zonna ezibadde zireta emmere from the various parts nga zizireta mu capital Gauteng wane Pretoria kati ekizibu mbuno kati wataddewo roadblocks emmere tekyasobola kucrossinga kuva eri paka eno
kati emmere tekyasobola kuva Masaka eyingire mu Kampala.
Checho kati awolapira muno ensi webeera teina mirembe. That is what happens when you have a lawless society. Era abantu mwambwera ole mugaba tugenda kwekalakaza tugenda ku street tukole biki bino ebintu bino okulowoozaako nti wotandika okwekalakaasa nduwa lutalo oba muyingide lutalo oba togenda kuddamu okufuna mmere amasanyalaze lusigavaako telecommunications nezivaako amasimu because kati mba mulina lawless society kati bitulina okubanga abadde kubanga waliwo bitwali tumanyi click yali egamba mbu bajja kweyiwa ku nguudo beekalakaase ovu kisimanyi kati waba kyasobola because COVID-19 ye mungi nnyo. So yeah, that is what is happening in South Africa, Miss Lillian Luwede.
Okay. Ebide South Africa ate munange mbeera sinungi katusubire nti bina embere nasobola kubanga edda mu nteeko because I mean bannansi babanga bagenda maaso n'okufa bwe bati ate nga ekikwewunyisa nti tebafa nti babakubye masasi wabula akavuyo kana akaliyo no nga Edgamathi bwayogedde onayinza okuba bamugwiridde oli alina ebirwadde bye ate ali mu kuwonyuka 10 tasobola kudduka olw'ensonga alina okwetaasa omukyalo oli yakasusa omwana wansi olw'okuba nti ayagala omusevinga.
Those all about the desperacy that is there.
Waliwo omwami gwe nalabye waliwo ka video ke nalabye ng'omwami ali mukulukusa amaziga amayitirivu atunuulira edduuka ali baluutinze buli kimu talina kyasigaza ali mu kukaaba amaziga amayitirivu ndowooza nga yeewuunya nti kati ngenda kutandikira ku ki ukyulidde akavuyo kano konna konna nga kavuddewo ngenda kutandikira ku kiso
bangi badde bakaaba amaziga bambi tekiri mu South Africa sawa
oli nayingira mu supermarket nakwata ebintu bya nasitula fridge omuntu omutandika okusitula fridge mbutuufu bwe kugwira ogenda kola otya okyulire so
naye wagiisaawo abafunyeemu
bannange wositulira fridge oba okyagitwala nekugwira ku mutwe n'ofiiraawo oba ofunyeemu ki oba tonyeza ofunyeemu
andi naye mazima wagikukusa n'agijjawawo n'agituusa ewaka abafunye
abafunye mutufu Edgar oyingidde supermarket gwe eimuyo oli mu aiminga kusitula fridge okay otuse mu supermarket ositudde bu crisp so mubulidde mu nnaku 3 buweddewo
naye obulidde nnaku 3 obaddewo waba wavu bungi naye nga tuvudde ku ekyo waliwo picture ndaje batannalaga mu South Africa n'abazungu bennyini abali mu South Africa bali mu kulootinga si bafirika bokka
no bade banyata abazungu bayina tebaluutinga
nja kulaga ebifaananyi singa bwange twadde n'obudde tunali bitu byalagaawo abazungu bali mu kubba nabo tebabiraga
babi abazungu bannaabwe babi
era ate basinga abazungu izo businesses bali mu kuyingira za abazungu ya South Africa South Africa nsi South Africa paka kati ekyalimu abazungu erimu
ina practices zirimu abazungu bokka
ngawe kyali edda so nabo mwe bali bangi kati nabo batandise okubanga bakola ki baluutinga babandi kati that is the thing when there is a lawless society
oluusi amawanga gano ebiseera ebisinga bwe batandika okubeerawo obuvuyo buno mu nsi wali abantu bwe batandika okugamba okay Abamerika tuweereze ennyonyi ke batikke babazeeyo abensi bweti oba abafalansa basindisa ennyonyi ebatikke bakoleki ebazeeyo ku mulundi guno tufunawulira ennyonyi tezinabakujja
anti kati ekizibu nti nno abazungu ababba bamunda nti South Africa jukira nga wokyogedde ina abazungu baayo kati wali waka waabwe that's home okitegeera kati era wababba bali mu kwebba kubanga nabo wadde bazungu naye ba South Africa era wewetegereza aba South Africa basinga bazungu abasinga yes they are Dutch, they are whites, they are coloreds, then they are Abafirika Bazulu bani Bahoisani Bakosa. There are different cultures in South Africa and South Africa kati is bleeding mujisabire ko bannange
baberenga munange embereeterera atenga edda mu nteeko
abantu
bali mu kuluutinga bwe kibantu
akadde katutwala
okuluutinga ye solution yokka anyway
no that was Chinagabe but they just looked for a chance they were looking for that spark
owedda banoonya akantu kebagamba nti
kano kyoke tutandika okwekalakaasa
nenga obudde
buweddeyo yes nga tumaliriza ndoza katusooke tuyiseewo omukyala atuteekamu ensimbi nga Mighty Drive Nita Jewelry yatuteekamu ensimbi ono omukyala akola necklaces akola earrings akola bangles akola obukoma akola obuntu buno obwokwenekaaneka okwewunda bagamba badde manyi kwenekaaneka
bwakwewunda
Nita Jewelry yes yatuteekamu ensimbi wano ku Mighty Drive osobola okumukeberako ku social media platforms zize zonna ye Nita Jewelry then enamba ye osobola ogikubako eri 0751 96 39 93 enamba erimu 9 nyingi 0751963993 beba
banabagala necklace waliwo amchala teditenje jona ulidenga yogera ku necklace simanya waliwo akasala wanakasa
yatugamba waliwo ne kano olona akabeera wano mu kiwato waliwo mbona akabeera mu mavivi lwina guli akogera akomu uncle
waliwo akatula wano mukono wano ku mukono waliwo akabeera
naye omukyala Teddy atu evolvinze kati tutegeera ne fashion
sijja ebimu sijja byogera olulimi lunkaluubiridde waliwo bano abagala bunosimanya
obwomukiwato naye obuba bukola mbu ekiwato ebyaddala like it makes you have a small waist
bakusibako obuwuzi ng'oli muto okwawula omukono simanya oba nekibatu sibitegeera naye bina nitabiina pini obulungi abambala pini enyambala buno naye waliwo abambala buli obukka bwe buto obwanvu bonna bwina
so kati bamukubire enamba erina oti 751 963
bana ebakube ku bya business bayinza oli ayinza okuba n'agamba kusaba mwenda ogw'ekiro mu njagala earrings ate njagala ogindeetere kati ekyanyina omukolo gwa ssaawa emu so bakube emisana ng'obudde bulaba bwe bibanga mirimu gya business naye wano tugenda kubanga tusookawo mukoze ne munnange Edgar Matthew Karuhanga producer olunaku luno olwaleero ye mwami Jeremiah Mukiibi atudde ku kamera ye mukulu Rogers tuli ahabwe ate nga bitukoze nabo olwaleero show kubaddeko omukyala Teddy Tenjo nabukeera nga twa fashion
newe tusaba producer n'atuwayo eddakiika 3 ne tukubira kanso Oduro ono netwogeramu ko naye n'atubulya thesis
producer aganye ne mulundi oguddako ayongera otubulira amateeka bagataputa batya bweba onoggalawo business y'omuntu biki byewetaaga okubanga okola naye nga mukyala Teddy Tenjo atuwadde fashion tips ate mukulu Rogers tuli ahabwe n'atuwa environmental tips so kasubire mufunyemu ekyokuyiga olunaku olw'enkya tuyina Justed the Black Man
yes
yayimbye akayimba akakapya
ulumva
ako kyonna kyoyimbye naye nga ke kayimba ke
Just the
yayimbye
Black
just olunaku olwekyo
Man.
temumusibwa mu studios agenda kubeera ku Mighty Drive yes nga yongera okuttanya emboozi ye music watuuse waabwe baali bakyawagana n'omukyala Prima kwegamba byonna agenda kubanga abinyonyola olunaku olwekyo so mubeereeko nnyo ku Mighty Drive mu Mote Buliro just the Black Man agenda kuba mu studios za Mighty Drive olunaku olwekyo so temumusubwa kambagazi olunaku olulungi temusubwa voltage olunaku olwekyo sawa empaka sawa 3 mwera.
Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.